Staying in tone with dual monsters, we have another archetype from that era, and unlike the last one, this one isn't that bad. In fact, it's actually very good. They're the titular Thunder Dragons used by Seto Kaiba, who weren't a fully fleshed out archetype, but for some reason they were so popular that Konami decided to make them a proper archetype. So yeah, let's start off with their first monster, that being the titular Thunder Dragon. A level 5 light monster with 1600 attack and 1500 defense, and this effect. You can discard to add up to 2 Thunder Dragons from your deck to your hand. So yeah, this effect is actually pretty impressive for the time, because it was actually a very cool deck thinning option back in the day, and you could actually use Thunder Dragon as a discard fodder since their Serpent got banned at the time. So yeah, a very nice deck thinning option and a very cool way to search out the fusion materials for their very first fusion monster back in the day. So yeah, basically a Thunder Dragon and a Polymerization in your hand basically meant their first fusion monster on their first turn right off the bat. So yeah, now that we've established what the original Thunder Dragon did, let's go on with our from lower to higher levels with their first monster, Thunder Dragon Matrix. It's a level 1 with 0 attack and 2000 defense and a quick effect. You can discard and target one Thunder monster you control, it gains 500 attack. If this card is banished or sent from the field to the graveyard, you can target one Thunder Dragon Matrix from your deck to your you can add one Thunder Dragon Matrix from your deck to your hand. You can only use the one Thunder Dragon Matrix effect per turn and only once that turn. So this is actually pretty impressive. I mean, the discard effect is used to set up their graveyard for revival cards such as Soul Charge until it got banned. And the floating effect just sets up the field, sets up the hand for another 500 attack point boost, which might not seem that good at first, but the point we have to take in first is that Thunder Dragon fusion monsters and extra deck monsters in general have ginormic attack values, so another 500 boost is a very welcome addition to their arsenal. So this one is a very nice one, and it's actually a special summonable 1/1 2000 wall. So yeah, running it at any less than 3 is usually not a good idea. Alright, next up we have the level 5 Thunder Dragon Dark. It's another, it has the exact same stats as the original Thunder Dragon, except it's a dark monster this time, and this time it has a quick effect. As in, you can discard to add one Thunder Dragon Dark from your deck to your hand, and if this card is banished or sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add one Thunder Dragon from a card from your deck to your hand, except Thunder Dragon Dark. You can only use one Thunder Dragon Dark effect per turn and only once that turn. So yeah, it's a very similar effect actually to the original Thunder Dragon, so except this one searches itself at the cost of discarding himself, which is a very unique way to search out more of yourself. And if it was sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add any Thunder Dragon monster from your deck to your hand. And basically, yeah, this is you tend to discard this, revive it, use it for a fusion summon, and yeah, search out more of them to make more fusion monsters. So yeah, as you caught the gist right now, they're a fusion spammer archetype. So yeah, Thunder Dragon Dark is usually ran at 3, like the original Thunder Dragon. Next up we have Thunder Dragon Roar, a level 6 Dark with 2400 attack and 0 defense. And you can discard this card, add it to your hand one of your Thunder Dragon cards that is banished or in the graveyard, except Thunder Dragon Roar. If this card is banished or sent from the field to the graveyard, you can special summon one Thunder Dragon monster from your deck in defense position, but return it to the hand during the end phase. You can only use one Thunder Dragon Roar effect per turn and only once that turn. And yeah, this is one of their recycling options, and a pretty good one at that. Not only does it fetch Thunder Dragons that were discarded, but also the ones that were banished as well. And as we'll see later on, Thunder Dragons also have a BLS Chaos Emperor Dragon type of monster that requires their summoning condition, so this is a very nice option to have. And not to mention that it's a very nice beat stick for a level 6, so it's also a very welcome addition to the deck. Run at least 2 of these. Next up we have Thunder Dragon Hawk, a level 6 with 1800 attack and 2200 defense. And you can also discard to special summon one of your Thunder Dragon monster that is banished or is in the graveyard. Except Thunder Dragon Hawk. If this card is banished or sent to the graveyard from the field to the graveyard, you can shuffle any number of cards from your hand into the deck, then draw the same number of cards. You can only use the one Thunder Dragon Hawk effect per turn and only once that turn. And this one is actually a better version of Thunder Dragon War since it special summons them. However, you actually do need Thunder Dragons in your hand as well. So this one, both this and Dragon Roar should be run at 2 at least. So they're basically different flavored dragons, and not to mention that its own banished or sent to the graveyard effect is basically a magical mallet for some reason, which is actually very welcome in the deck. So yeah, this is a very nice card. So like I said, Dragon Roar and this thing should be ran at least 2 copies each. And their last main deck monster is a level 7 monster, that being Thunder Dragon Duo. And this one cannot be normal summoned or set. Must first be special summoned from your hand by banishing 1 light and 1 dark monster from your graveyard. Once per turn, if a monster effect is activated in the hand, this card gains 300 attack until the end of this turn. When this card destroys an opponent's monster of a battle, you can banish 1 card from your graveyard, add 1 thunder monster from your deck to your hand. Once per turn during the end phase, you can target one of the banished cards, place it on the top or the bottom of the deck. So for their main deck boss monster, this is actually pretty legit. Not only does it trigger the effects of other Thunder Dragon monsters with this summoning condition, but it also gains attack points. Well, it's not that impressive, but it gains 300 attack, and combined with Dragon Matrix, it gains 800 attack, which is very good, turning him into a 3600 beat stick right off the bats. And you can actually banish another card from your graveyard when it destroys a monster by battle, triggering even more effects. And it searches. My God, it also searches other cards from your archetype by doing so, by triggering other graveyard banishing effects. So yeah, this thing you never can go wrong without running 3 of these. A very nice card. Moving on to their extra deck, we have their very first fusion monster, Twin-Headed Thunder Dragon. Requires specifically 2 Thunder Dragons, and it has 2800 attack and 2100 defense. It's a level 7 as well. And yeah, basically it's not worth running nowadays, but it was very good at the time. Then next up we have one of their more recent fusion monsters, that being Thunder Dragon Colossus. This one has a higher defense but lower attack than the original Twin-Headed Thunder Dragon. Requires specifically Thunder Dragon and any Thunder monster. Must be either fusion summoned or special summoned during the turn a Thunder monster's effect was activated in the hand. By tributing 1 Thunder effect non-fusion monster, in which case you do not use polymerization. Cards cannot be added from the main deck to your opponent's hand except by drawing them. If this card would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can banish 1 Thunder monster from your graveyard instead. Holy shit, this is a very good boss monster. This card basically locks out any meta deck that is heavily focused on searching, which is pretty much all of them. And not only that, it has a very strong protection effect by banishing a Thunder Dragon from your graveyard, which in turn triggers the effect of said Thunder Dragon by letting you continue your plays. This is very good, and not to mention that For its summon, you do not even need to use polymerization, which is very lovely indeed. So yeah, this you should always run at least 2 of these. You can never go wrong with at least 2 of these. And next up we have their ultimate, well, the fusion monster. They have one extra deck monster up to that. That being Thunder Dragon Titan. Requires 3 Thunder Dragon monsters and must be either fusion summoned or special summoned by banishing 1 Thunder monster from your hand and 1 fusion monster you control except Thunder Dragon Titan, in which case you do not use polymerization. When a Thunder monster's effect is activated in the hand, even during the damage step quick effect, you can destroy 1 card on the field. If this card would be destroyed by a card effect, you can banish 2 cards from your graveyard instead. So this is it's a much bigger beater than Colossus, but it has some upgrades and downsides. I should add. Protection effect banishes any 2 cards in the graveyard, meaning you can abuse some other cards as tech choices you choose to run in this deck. And you can actually pop any card on the field. However, it is a bit too hard to summon. Well, it's not too hard to summon, don't get me wrong, but it's a bit trickier to summon. But yeah, if you run Colossus at 3, you run this at 2, and if you run Colossus at 2, you run this at 1, basically. So yeah, this is their final fusion monster. And next up we have their final monster in general, the Link monster, Thunder Dragon Thunderstorm mech. It's a Link 4, requires 2+ Thunder monsters with arrows pointing left, right, down, and bottom right down, and it has 2800 attack. And during your main phase, if you control this Link summon card, you can target one of your Thunder Dragon monsters that is banished or in the graveyard, apply that monster's effect that discards itself to activate, then place that monster on the top or the bottom of the deck. You can only use this effect of Thunder Dragon Thunderstorm mech once per turn. If a Thunder monster you control will be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can banish 3 cards from your graveyard instead. So yeah, more requirements than Titans. So yeah, banishing 3 cards from your graveyard for the protection can be a bit too costly in my opinion. But luckily it's any cards in the graveyard, so yeah. And the copying effect is actually very good, since you do not need to discard for them. You basically target any monster you want its effect activated, and then you do it for free. However, this one is not that worth running because field presence is not a very strong point for Thunder Dragons. This one can be a bit too tricky to summon at times. You might have to rely on other Thunder support for this thing to work. So yeah, this is a very gimmicky boss monster that should be ran on 1 max. Alright, their next card is their only spell card, that being Thunder Dragon Fusion, their archetypal fusion spell. Fusion summon 1 Thunder Fusion monster from your extra deck by shuffling the fusion materials listed on it into the deck from among your cards on the field or in the graveyard, and or face up banish cards. During your main phase, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from the graveyard, add 1 Thunder monster from your deck to your hand, and you can only use each card effect of Thunder Dragon Fusion once per turn. I would call this one decent if it wasn't for the fact that it actually shuffles the things into the deck. If it banished it from the graveyard, I would have actually called it a very nice card, and it would actually see a bit more play, but the shuffling into the deck actually goes against their logic, meaning you have to, I mean, if you use it on the dead vanilla Thunder Dragons in your graveyard, I mean, you could basically make use of this thing, and if you manage to revive the third one, get it back into your hand to search out the duo back again, so then I would see the potential usefulness. But shuffling from your deck, shuffling it back into your deck, it kind of goes against their logic, so you're better off using the non-polymerization summoning requirements, or run a few polymerizations if you feel like it. As for this, I wouldn't see it in any more than one. Our next card is Thunder Dragon Discharge, a continuous trap card. The activation of your Thunder Dragon's monster's effects cannot be negated. Once per turn, if a Thunder monster's effect is normal, if a Thunder Dragon monster is normal or special summoned to your field, you can target one spell or trap card on the field, banish one Thunder monster from your deck, and if you do, destroy that target. So this is actually a pretty legit card. Not only does it give protection to non-negation of the effects of Thunder Dragon monsters, but it also searches out the effect you want to activate at that time by banishing it straight from the deck, and it's very nice. However, the problem is that it's not very searchable, so it could be a potentially bricky card to consider running. However, running at least one doesn't hurt. And their final card is the normal trap Thunder Dragon's 100 Thunders. Target one Thunder monster in your graveyard, special summon it. Then you can special summon as many monsters with that same name as possible from your graveyard. The monsters special summoned by this effect are banished when they leave the field. Also, while they are face up on the field, you cannot special summon monsters except Thunder monsters, and you can only activate one of these per turn. So yeah, this is a somewhat specific archetypal soul charge, and if you're running it, the best way to special summon Thunderstorm mech. You never want to go without 3 of these, and it's usually a very nice option to run. And yeah, the most profound targets are the Drago Roar, then Drago Matrix, the original Thunder Dragons. So you can use it to summon their fusion monsters. The possibilities are very evident with this one. And now for the grades. Their consistency is pretty amazing, and generic Thunder support is basically not needed as much. So yeah, this is a 2 out of 3 in the consistency department. Their power output is not that high, but it's also very impressive thanks to Drago Matrix and Duo even. And their fusion monsters are rocking pretty high attack values themselves, so I'll give them a 2 out of 3 as well. Their comeback ability is also a very nice 2 out of 3, since recycling batteries can also be helped, since it's a generic Thunder type support card, and it can be used to retrieve dead Thunder Dragons, so you can trigger their effects from the hand as well again. Their protection is very impressive, and I'm currently in a dilemma: should I give them a 2 or 3 out of 3 because of their boss monster having amazing protection. So I don't know. I'll give him I'll be generous. I'll give him a 3 out of 3 because it's that good. And the discharge trap card negates their plays from being negated. So very nice. And as for the versatility, I'm gonna give him a 3 out of 3 because most of their cards actually pretty much shut down meta decks. And if you splash in Thunder King Ryo, it's wow, it's just such an amazing anti-meta deck already. So yeah, Thunder Dragons are a very nice archetype. They are a very nicely made archetype, and if they're if they get new support, I would really want to see them, because they have a potential to turn into a very formidable anti-meta deck. And if that day comes, I'll gladly accept that. And with that being said, we are done with the Thunder Dragons. Thank you all so much for watching. Stay tuned for more videos like that, updates, comment, like, and subscribe. And as usual, I'll upload the next vid whenever I can. See you all, have a good day, and peace.